The leave grant is paid only once in each holiday year. As we discussed yesterday, we said that all civil servants or employees of the government, including teachers, are entitled to a holiday, but that has to be done within 12 months. So the leave grant is also given once in every 12 months. It is based on your grade. That is the amount that you get is based on the grade where you belong. Now, to qualify for the leave grant, you must take the holiday. How much of the time you should take? You are entitled to the leave grant if you take at least 7 days of your holiday, and they have to be consecutive 7 days. Then you apply for your leave grant. Now, you are not applying for the holiday, you are applying for the money you want to use during that holiday. So it's two things, applying for the money, applying for the holiday. But also, how do you apply for that leave grant? It has to be made at least 10 days before the date of the holiday, before you leave for your holiday. That is the requirement, but sometimes situations on the ground will change. Yesterday we discussed that it comes once every year. Whether you apply or you don't apply for the leave grant, you still get your leave grant. All right, another regulation that we want to understand is what is known as advance payment. This is receiving part of your salary in advance, depending on situations or circumstances at play. Now, what kind of advance payment can we ask for? We have the following: education advance. That is, you want to ask your employer, would I please get part of my salary, part of my money, so I can use it for studies. Another advance that you can ask for is an emergency advance. Something has just cropped up, you have no money, and you want your employer, the government, to give you some money. You apply for that kind of advance. Then there is also another advance. This is a bicycle advance. You want to buy a bicycle, you apply for that advance. You want to buy a motor vehicle, you may also apply for the advance. Once again, advance is not a loan, it is your own money. You're asking the government, can I receive some of my money early before the actual date of receive my money? And then you'll be paying back that money. You may not pay back all the money at once. Maybe they'll be deducting you little by little on fixed basis until you finish the sum that you had received. So it is not automatic that you get a leave, not a leave, you get this advance payment as soon as you apply, or each and every time you apply for it. It is subject to availability of finances. So because of that, people will be applying for advances, but they will not get it, maybe because funds are not available. All right, we have more regulations you want to know. Allowances. Allowances. I hope you have heard about allowances and we know what these allowances are. So let us understand something on these allowances. They are given from time to time and they are given for particular reasons. Now, the name you call the allowance is based on the purpose of that allowance. For example, you could have what is known as disturbance allowance. You remember yesterday we talked about posting. You move from Yera to go to Chikwawa Primary School. You have been disturbed. Now, that disturbance, you may ask for a disturbance allowance. Then there is also what is known as subsistence allowance. This is paid you want to go and work, or you have been asked to go and work outside your duty station. Maybe you spent a night or some more days in that place. You apply for, or you are entitled to a subsistence allowance. This is the money you are going to use for lodging and other expenses. You may also get what is known as occasional meal allowance. Sometimes we have heard of something like lunch allowance. The money that you get maybe where you are not sleeping there, you're working the whole day, but then you need to eat something during lunchtime, so you apply for lunch allowance. Someone working in a rural area may apply, not necessarily applying actually, you receive rural allowance if the policy says so. So they will assess where you are working. Does it deserve to be called a rural area? Then you get a rural allowance. Now, another regulation that I want to understand is about teachers' houses, also known as teachers' quarters. Most civil servants, they they stay in staff houses, the staff quarters. If you're a teacher, you may stay at the institution in staff quarters. Now, these staff quarters are not for free. There is some money you ought to pay. That amount that you pay is a rate. Now, you can see that picture. You may want to describe these houses. Do they have electricity? Are the floors made of concrete or cement? Are the roofs permanent? Are the walls permanent? But that could be an example of a house that you may live in once you get qualified and you're appointed as a teacher. Now, that is just one example of a house that we may live in, but there's another type, another example of a house. Let me, okay, we have that house. It could also be a house you may find at an institution. Look at the floor, look at the walls, look at the roof as well. Another house, it will be different from the first one and the second one, but it could also be a house that you may find at an institution. So based on those three examples, similarly, the rate that you pay would be taken into consideration. What type of house, what type of quarters it is. Now, what are these rates? How are they determined? So the houses or the quarters are put into what are known as classes. They're the first class, class 1. These quarters or these houses, in the first place, the roof and the walls are permanent. I think this applies to the first image that I showed. The roof, the walls are permanent. That is maybe made of brick, made of concrete, blocks, something like that. Apart from that, the floor is concrete throughout. Another factor is that the house should have water supply, that is tapped water. Now, a house that has all those three factors, aspects, they are put into class 1 quarters. How much do you pay in these houses? They deduct 5% of your salary each and every month. Then there's another class, class 2. What qualifies a house to be in class 2? All right. All the three components we mentioned in the first class has to be there except one, that is water supply. So the roof permanent, the floor is made of concrete, the walls are permanent, but this house has no water supply. It falls into the category of class 2. How much do you pay for such houses? The rent is 4%. They deduct 4% from your salary. You may want to calculate. Let's say you are getting 200,000 kwacha per month. So 4% of 200,000 kwacha is going to be the amount of money they'll deduct to pay for the quarters you are living in. Another category is category 3. What qualifies these houses to be in that category? So the house has water supply with any two of the components in class 1. So it could be water supply and a concrete floor throughout, or it could be water supply and permanent walls and permanent roof. That is class 3 quarters. How much do you pay in this case? These houses, you get deducted 2% of your salary each and every month. Then the last category or the last class of houses is class 4. What are these houses? Now, these quarters, they have water supply and one component in class 1 houses. That is, you have water supply and just one component of class 1, water supply and concrete floor, or water supply and permanent wall, or water supply and permanent roof. All right, but I hope I haven't confused you on class 3. When I say class 3, it is one component of class 1 and 2 other components. Am I confusing here? No. Class 3. Class 3, water supply and any 2 components of class 1. So it's water supply and the permanent roof and water supply, a water supply and a permanent roof together with a concrete floor throughout, or concrete floor, permanent wall, but water supply has to be there as well. So that is class 3. 2 components of class 1 and water. But class 4 is one component of class 1 and water supply. Now, what amount of money do you get deducted for living in class 4 quarters? Let's see. Oh, no deduction. So it's free. It is free. It is free. You'll be living there forever and you get retired. No money is deducted from your salary for living in those quarters. All right. Then we have another regulation that I want us to understand. This is resignation notice of resignation by you want to resign. Maybe you have found a job elsewhere or something has cropped up and you want to resign. This is not retirement. Retirement age, time maybe hasn't, is not yet your time to retire, but you want to resign. I want to stop working for the government. So you give a notice. So a civil servant wishing to resign, they have to give a notice in writing to a responsible officer. When do you give the notice? It will depend on your employment condition. What are these conditions? Are you on probation? Are you a contract officer? Or are you a permanent officer? So depending on your work status, it also determines how much time you should give the government, your employer, to get ready for your resignation. So for someone who is on probation, you give a notice of 30 days before you write it, you put it in writing. This is November, I'm resigning in December. All right. Then we have another regulation that we have to understand, and this is what is known as retirement. Retirement. All right. So you may retire. Not necessarily you may, but according to regulations as of now for us civil servants, when you reach the age of 60 years, you have to retire. You have to retire. All right. This retirement is known as mandatory retirement, whether you like it or not. You have to. So we just have to know and get ready for that time.